Welcome back to the BookEnds YouTube channel. If you watched our previous video on how to become a literary agent, this is its cousin, how to become an editor.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we're going to say is somewhat similar,
But it
but
might reach different people depending on what you want to do.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. And if you haven't, I would suggest watching both because I think some people don't consider that there are these two different paths when it comes to working in publishing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I think an editor is probably the most obvious job.
Maybe, but I think it's sometimes, yes, it's the most obvious sounding job in publishing, but I'm not so sure people really understand what the job, because
No,
there are a couple different ways to be an editor in publishing.
right, but I do think that anybody who's like, I want to work with books, defaults to editor. Like
Absolutely.
that's the gateway drug
Yeah,
to
until you
being.
found our YouTube channel, you didn't even know a literary agent
Right.
existed.
Exactly. So the gateway drug to publishing is I want to be an editor. I think the first thing most people who are in that, pipeline are usually in college or finishing up college or have just finished college. Like I would say that's the target demographic, but not always. So the first step obviously is to have a college degree of some sort. Most publishing houses would look for typically a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be required from any publishing house.
Yeah. And there's not necessarily like a specific concentration, English, journalism, communications,
History, math,
history, yeah,
whatever,
law.
law. Did you want to be an editor?
No. At first, yeah. And then you got stuck with me. Yeah. You were an editor. And then
I
you
was.
did
That
the
was my path. I never heard of a literary agent.
right.
And when I was looking for jobs, I don't even know if there was any way really easily for me to find out that that sort of career existed.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know either. I was already applying to internships. Reread The Hunger Games and Rosemary Stamola in the back of the book. I was like, now what's she doing? And then I researched, and then that's how I found all of the many agents.
amazing. But there are, before we really get into the nitty-gritty, there are different kinds of editors, and I think this is the key. The editor that we think of and talk about most are acquisitions editors. And they're the people that when an author talks about their editor, the author is typically talking about. And they're the people that acquire the book for the publishing house, work with the author on the book, help do things like revision, line edits, those kinds of changes to the book. But there are also production editors, copy editors, and things like that. So if you're a person who really loves the nitty-gritty and the details, if you really understood the whole idea of diagramming a sentence and know where commas go, you are my hero because I don't know any of those things.
Not your strong suit.
Oh, not even close. Not even close. No, I can't even explain that I do not know what a semicolon is to this day. Direct object,
Just use
indirect.
it when the vibe is right. That's it.
It seems like it would be good here. I'm gonna put it
Now's
here.
the time for an M dash.
Oh, I used to get in high school, my papers were A over D. A for the writing, D for the grammar. Because then I would start to overthink the commas. And once like if I just write it, I tend to do okay.
Commas have so many rules and contradictory rules
But it
and
doesn't make sense if I'm going to take a break here in my sentence and in my speaking, a comma belongs there. But then
right.
someone will tell me that's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Commas are not Jessica's thing.
no. But so there are different types of editors. So if you're one of those detail-oriented person who your friends come and say, "Can you read this over?" because they want you to really get into that grammar, then copy editing is probably your job, production editing, things like that. But when we talk about becoming an editor, we typically talk about the front-facing editor, the acquisitions editor, um, that most of us think of working directly hand in hand with the author.
Right. I think at really any job in publishing, it's really important to read widely and critically.
Yeah. Maybe if you're in contracts or sales.
Right, right. Contracts not necessarily, but like I think it's important for subsidiary rights. I think
Oh,
it
absolutely.
might make production editing way more fun, but I think also there's like a creative design side to production editing that can be really useful if you enjoy reading and you read widely.
Mhm.
And also you kind of know the market that way and you know what other covers look like. And I think that's super helpful.
Yeah.
But understanding the different genres, marketing, markets, and like how people tell stories in different genres too. I think all of that is just an undeniable education that everyone in
Yeah.
publishing should have.
And I'm going to say this, some of the same things here we said in the
Yeah.
how to become an literary agent, but you need to be reading what's current and what's happening today and what's being published today. You know, when you're interviewing for a job, if you tell me that the last books were your English syllabus, that's not enticing to anybody in publishing. I also think it's really important to read broadly, but know what you read and understand. You know, none of us, no reader reads widely across all genres and has a real masterful understanding of what makes all genres work. Um, you tend to gravitate towards certain things. Maybe it's literary fiction, maybe it's science fiction, maybe it's romance, whatever it is, because part of the job search is that the people looking to hire are going to want somebody working in the type and style of books that they're working with.
Exactly. But I do think having like dabbling a little bit in
Yeah.
all is super helpful and can give you a leg up in the various interviews, especially because, and we'll say this later, we think you should be applying widely.
Yep.
Um, so the next thing we talked about this too for literary agents, but internship experience goes a super long way.
Yeah.
It's that, contradictory thing where entry level positions look for experience. It's not everyone's favorite concept, but it's true. So a lot of entry level positions will look for some sort of publishing experience.
And I would say it does not need to be just in an editorial position at a publishing house.
No,
Internships in any sort of media, whether it's publishing, literary agencies, magazines,
scouting.
newspapers, to be honest, even screenwriters, if you can get a screenwriting internship, anything that puts you into the media world
Mhm,
is a great idea.
for sure. Learning the publishing process. I think this is helpful for a couple reasons. A, because it kind of gives you a leg up when talking about publishing when you're starting a job or an internship, but also then you know all of the very many opportunities that there are in publishing because there are so many departments within a publisher, within an agency. There's a lot of different ways to kind of like stake your claim and work in publishing and make a name for yourself. So knowing the publishing process kind of just keeps opening all those doors for you, in
Yeah.
addition to giving you that leg up of knowing how the cookie crumbles, really.
Yeah, and you
That's
don't
not the
need to
phrase.
knowing how the
How the sausage is made.
there you go. Uh
It's
food.
it's not actually a worse. Move on.
Now I want a cookie.
I always want a cookie.
Um You don't need to take a special publishing course or a class to learn this either. There's a ton of information online. There's a ton of information on our YouTube channels. I think just digging into the industry and following industry news and talking to different people in the industry, even whether it's authors, publishing people, whatever it is, will help you learn this.
When you start applying, you've done all these things, you're ready to start sending your applications out there. Start with entry level roles. I think unless you have extensive
Yeah.
publishing experience, that's going to be where you find the most success. Editorial assistants, publishing assistants, production, marketing, publicity, sales, assistants.
Contracts,
Yeah, exactly.
whatever you can do to get in the door, agency, whatever it is, apply for those jobs. And I always say apply widely,
Yeah.
and that means that you don't wait for a job opening to be posted because some of them don't get posted or they get posted, but they're already reviewing resumes. By the time the job is getting posted, they're already reviewing resumes. They're already talking to people. The last time we hired, I had reached out to a few people. We hadn't even got everything up on the website for more than a day before the position was full because I was already working on making that happen. The same is going to happen anywhere.
And for the, yeah, because we are filling usually a gap. A lot of job listings are because we're filling a gap,
Yeah.
unless it's an entirely new position, which happens less commonly. But we're filling a gap and we
Yeah.
need a team member on our team. So most businesses are going to look to move pretty quickly.
Yeah, and for let's say an editorial assistant, the minute that assistant gives notice, that boss is contacting HR and that HR is digging through that day's resumes. They haven't even posted it yet. They're already moving to start interviewing.
Yeah. And that's where networking comes in too,
Mhm.
because that sort of networking can help you get word of these open positions from those that you've met or worked with or left a lasting impression on.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so well, networking was our next one, and we just kind of said that and why it's
Jumped into
important.
that.
But attend publishing events, join any organizations that you might be eligible for, connect with professionals that you've worked with, kind of keep yourself top of mind if you can, check in, say hello, be friendly. Those sorts of things will always help, as well as staying current. And I think this helps for a couple reasons. You'll know what's happening in the industry. You'll follow the trends that are happening with the books being published, but you also know when those positions pop up if you're getting the newsletters or you're seeing what's happening or a new imprint is popping up. Then you can kind of track where job openings might list.
Yep. Yeah, and I would say be prepared. Organization is a really huge part of this job, and that's probably going to come up in any job interview. So I would suggest that, you practice on how to keep yourself organized.
Yeah, and
Because you are going to be an assistant, which means that your job will be running spreadsheets and answering people's emails and tracking pub dates and things like that.
yeah, and same thing for being timely, which I think is often um, undervalued in publishing.
Yeah.
Not to be hateful on this here video, but being timely and getting your tasks done efficiently, getting back to people relatively
Oh,
quickly,
yeah.
that goes a
Sending
long
that
way.
thank you note after the interview.
All of that goes a long way. Punctuality is super important, and I think leaves a lasting impression. It would leave a lasting impression on me, and
Yeah.
maybe that just
Oh,
goes to
yeah.
show you how much I just want people to respond to emails. But that is a big plus for publishing, I think.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
those are all of our tips. That's, I think, a good checklist for how you can get started on the job search to become an editor. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you back here next time.
Bye.